Wakey, 13th of October, 2023. And I'm glad that you joined the Morning Prime. It is Friday, and every Friday you have your Ngozi Today coming your way, where we take a critical analysis on the leadership of the day, keeping them honest, asking questions regarding policies that have been, of course, affronted right now, and of course looking at the current state of play of leadership in the country as well. We shall be holding court momentarily with Professor KTN News TV, who is a governance and policy analyst, leadership and management professor at the Multimedia University of Kenya. Also, we have with us Kipruto Arap Kirwa, who is a governance and policy analyst. We'll be joined also by Jonah Kindiki. Professor Jonah Kindiki is a governance and policy analyst. And also, all the program this morning, we shall be looking at a lot of issues, especially regarding the new development that so far we have people who've moved to court to challenge the hate mission, but we have the CS Interior keeping it very, very clear that the mission is still on, and we're going full steam ahead with that. Also, the government has made it very limpid and clear regarding the GMO, that it is safe and all Kenyans right now can embrace GMO moving forward. What does it really portend also for the nation and for the society, or especially the anti-GMO movement? Right, we have a new maize price, 4,000 shillings per bag is what now the government has put the maize price at, and it's willing to buy 1 million bags from farmers. So we shall be looking at that moving forward as well. But questions around also Telecom Kenya is arising, and the transactions around it that is under a cloud of a very ominous foggy cloud, I should say, regarding this transparency and the previous also transactions that were held before. And right now, the questions are rising on how that was made very quick off the mark without even the approval of Parliament, and also the bidding process, which was not known to the public. Was there any public participation? We shall be interrogating this as well, and much more here on the program. The lifting of the ban on the environment, that is the forest ban as well. We will make it clear what the determination of the court has been so far, that we have 5,000 hectares of land that is dedicated now to logging. That is what the court has so far given direction on. But the lifting has to be made clear because people are logging trees every which way in this country since the declaration of that by the president. And so it shall be good for us to interrogate that with the panelists this morning. I'm holding court this morning, as I've mentioned. KTN News TV, who is here in studio. Kipruto Arap Kirwa is with us as well. I can see Professor Jonah Kindiki being mic'd, but I just want to hear the voices before we buckle down, right? I think a happy smile should be on Kipruto Arap Kirwa, right? But you are sort of a prophet. Right? Last time we had you talking about the maize price. You hear it could be 4,000 shillings, 3,000 shillings, 3,600 shillings. So it's not really far away from what you've prophesied. Well, are you happy with that?
Well, not quite, because you see, what should have been done is, if the government says they are buying at 4,000,
yes,
they should be able to mop much of the maize from the market, prepare it in terms of drying and storage.
Yes.
If they do not have the money, or if the administration does not have the money, they can give warehouse receipting for purposes of ensuring that the maize is away from the farmers, given the fact that El Nino may start at a time.
Yes.
So it worries me, because if we leave to the vagaries of the weather, we are likely to lose more than 25% in the next 1 month or so of the expected crop. And as they were saying that we are going to have 70 million bags, it is not true, the bag. 70
million bags that, of course, we are also ready for export as a country.
No, well, that's a lot of small stories. I call it small stories in the sense that I was in Narok yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and I've been to Kajiado, Nakuru, and many other counties that are sort of marginal in terms of maize production. The maize that I see is less than average. This therefore means the best we can do is 41 million bags. Yeah.
41 million bags.
Yeah.
So with the 1 million bags that the government is trying to buy from the farmers, and that price, don't you think, well, you don't say it's a fair price, because people expect it to have really gone down even much lower than what it is right now?
Well, it's not a fair price because you see the cost of production up to now per acre is about 45,000.
Yes.
And you are lucky if you are able to produce above 20,000, 20 bags. This, therefore, when you do simple arithmetic, the best you can get is about profit is about 16%, which is really lower than somebody having a fair return of his investment. I would have expected the price to be about 45. But the prevailing price now that the government has given 4,000, the price by middlemen is about 3,800 or even lower than that. That worries me in the sense that we will allow a bit of our maize to cross the border to Uganda, to cross the border to Tanzania, and if you check this Kajiado road, the one Namanga, there are some lorries going down to Namanga, and really it will remove the maize from the market, and within no time we shall do another importation, perhaps February, March next year.
February, March next year,
yes,
we do importation.
We might have to do importation. Yeah.
All right. Let's hear from Professor Gitile Natuli, fresh from Kajiado. How is Kajiado?
Yeah, Kajiado is good. It's the best part of Kenya.
It's the best part of Kenya?
Yes.
Why do you say so?
Because it's a very peaceful, cosmopolitan. Yeah, everybody, all the Kenyans are in Kajiado.
All the Kenyans are in Kajiado.
Yes.
Well, good to see you. I think you've been following the developments latest so far. I don't know what has been your highlights.
I think
it's been over 2 weeks or 3 that we last hosted you here.
Yeah, it's about 3 weeks.
Yes.
I went to Nakuru.
You went to Nakuru?
Yes.
You were in Nakuru County. So you shuttled between Nakuru and
Kajiado.
Yes. And at times Meru.
Sometimes Meru as well.
Yes. Yeah. We are not going to get a respite on the unga prices.
We're not going to get.
You don't get it until you deal with the whole system of food production here. What I mean is, you see, for giving whatever subsidizing fertilizer doesn't address the question of cost of production. It doesn't even come close. So right now, the prices may look reasonable because we're harvesting. It happens all the time.
Yes.
Whenever harvesting, the prices will become a little bit reasonable. But by November, they start rising again. So if 4,000, that means an 90 kilogram bag total is, if you compare that with the Uganda production, you will find our cost of production still remains very high because we are not doing a lot with the things that really matter here. The cartels which control fertilizer, cartels which control farm inputs, all of them, we haven't even begun to address that. So our cost of producing unga will continue where they are or rise even further, and that means you can get a shorter relief during harvest time. Then after that, the things just go up again. Yeah.
All right, so wait for
the prices go up again.
Go up again. The man I haven't seen for quite a while is Mr. Jonah Kindiki. Yeah, it's been a while since I think we were in our town studio the last time I saw you.
It's true.
Yeah,
correct.
Over 1 year.
Yeah,
just before, after the elections, you disappeared. I thought maybe you'd gotten some contract there in government, a corner office, that you went quiet. Good to see you. Good morning. Where have you been?
No, I've been around, around, yeah.
But I want to hear more. Will not be an answer.
I've been around doing so many things. Of course, you know my job. I teach, do research.
Yes.
And of course, you do other things that relate to my family. Yeah, so I've been very, very busy.
You've been very busy.
Very busy doing other, so many things. Yeah.
Okay, good to hear that.
Yes.
Good to hear that.
Yes.
Of course, we shall be joined much later by Dr. Isaac Kalua as well, and they shall speak largely, especially on the environment issues regarding also the lifting of the ban, or not really lifting because it's not that comprehensive, the 5,000 hectares that has been dedicated to, of course, planting trees and logging trees. Why are you smiling, Professor?
Because talking about the environment. We are never serious with it. We are already cutting the trees. We are allowing GMOs in. Environment is like we are using it as the way we use the church. We use the church to raise money. The church is a business. We are now making an environmental business. The commitment to it is neither here nor there.
But it will be unfair for you to say the church is a business because
No, but it is a business.
No.
Other than the Catholic Church, maybe in these primary churches, the mainstream.
The mainstream churches.
Yeah, other than the mainstream churches, which actually I think they improve the job that the government ought to be doing. They have schools, they have hospitals. The others are businesses. Yeah, they don't even lie. Most of them admit that they are doing business. They call them kiosks, right?
Yeah.
They call them
They call them kiosks.
kiosks.
One of them said,
Which one is this? Which area do you?
One
really
of
go
these
to?
fellows said one day on TV, if you play around with me, I'll close those kiosks. What is his name? Nganga? Was it Nganga?
Yeah.
You call these branches. You know, he has branches in different
Yeah,
parts
but
of
that is just one person. He cannot be the voice of a church.
No, but
yeah,
he's
then you try to call the entire church a kiosk.
He is one of them. No, I don't call the entire church. The entire church would be an inaccurate description.
Yeah,
But the bigger part of the charismatic, the one called the evangelicals,
The evangelicals.
is pure business.
All right, let's leave it at that. We want to see what we have in our dailies this morning. Begin with the bold paper. This is what you're waking up to on the front page of a Standard today. Team OK's Raila's Mudavadi post. That is what is on the front page of a Standard today. The National Dialogue team has agreed on the need to have the office of the opposition leader and the Prime Cabinet Secretary entrenched in the Constitution. However, they are yet to agree on the issues or on other issues, among them terming cost of living. And this story continues on page 4, right? We thought cost of living was actually the catnip issue that should be discussed in this particular dialogue, but it seems it's all about both. This is what is on the front page of the Standard today. Kindiki, he says Haiti deployment to go as planned. Interior CS has said the plan to send police officers to Haiti will continue, and that another advance team is heading to the country in the next few days. This is in spite of a court order that is still standing. You can follow the story on page 5. That is in the Standard today. Also, it's 4,000 shillings for a bag of maize, state declares. This is what we had Kiproto Arapkiro talking about. The story continues on page 9 of the Standard today. And why TPOK Jazz fate was tied to France. And you can see Franco there. The story is on page 14 of the Standard. KQ plane intercepted by UK Air Force. A mayday call there for KQ after there was a false alarm regarding some security issues and it had to be diverted there. We'll give you the details much later in the course of the program right now. And remember, if you're young and young at heart, you have the Pulse magazine coming in handy for you. It's party time as we're heading towards the festivities season now. People are gearing up for the party season. That is the Standard. The Daily Nation, it has a splash on why KQ plane was diverted in London. Kenya Airways says the incident was stood down by security and aircraft cleared. Scheduled departure there was 9:05, actual departure 9:18. Scheduled arrival 16:15. Of course, GMT status diverted to STN Kenya Airways. And you have the equipment there, Bravo 788. 5 Yankee Kilo Zulu. You can follow the story there inside the Daily Nation there. And the scare, it says a Kenya Airways flight KQ 100 from Nairobi to London was yesterday afternoon intercepted by the UK's Air Force and diverted from Heathrow to Stansted Airport over a potential security threat. The plane landed safely and, according to KQ, was later cleared to continue normal operations. You can follow the story on page 7 of the Daily Nation this morning. Progress. Sticky issues in Ruto-Raila talks. President William Ruto and Azimio leader Raila Odinga in agreement over the creation of the office of the Cabinet Secretary and official leader of opposition, but not on the reconstitution of the IBC and the demand for a forensic audit of the 2022 presidential poll results, right? You have a story on page 4 of the Daily Nation this morning. And we thought also the auditor of the IBC was one also of the main issues that wanted that to be broached, but that seems not to be taking a back burner. On the side, we have Kiptum, 2 in the running for the World Athlete of the Year. Newly crowned World Marathon record holder Kelvin Kiptum has been nominated for the coveted 2023 World Athlete of the Year award in men's category. This is on page 36 of the Daily Nation, and set to buy 1 million bags of maize from farmers. Cuban doctors to leave after deal halted is another story. And GMO foods on our plates now. A reality after court ruling is on page 5. You have The Voice coming in handy for you every Friday inside the Daily Nation. And Blinken visits Israel to stress solidarity, urge restraint. We are with you, our brother. That is the sentiment. You can follow the story on page 27 of the Daily Nation this morning. The Star. How 2022 KCSE exam was leaked. Senior government officials, including NEC, received bribes to facilitate early exposure to exam. And that story continues on page 4 and 5. Fearing fraud, parents facilitated bribes through unofficial levies paid by candidates. Right? So that was furtively done in the name of levies. And parents also are aiding and abetting in the stealing of these exams, as it were, because they want their children to secure the future in whatever way they could. And that is what you want to follow inside the Star on page 4 and 5 this morning. Ruto gets a feel of Turkana dress, food at cultural festival, and you can see him imbibing something here. President William Ruto during the Turkana Cultural and Tourism Festival in Lodwar on Thursday. This is a test of home, and there he is with the elders as well from the Turkana region. You can follow that story inside the Star this morning. And Turkana Cultural Festival is bound to be a world tour attraction, as the president has indicated. Mackenzie letter to followers, too fast to death intercepted, still is on it. It seems also the many days he's been in the slumbers does not really change his belief in these letters. So we could say this is the Paul Mackenzie's epistles to his Shakahola followers, still on it. And now he has even denied, or he has actually declined to appear before the Senate. That story, you can follow it inside the Star this morning. You have also Siasa Fiesta, not Siasa Fiesta, but Siasa Pull-Out magazine that comes in handy for you every Friday. State borrowing, not a bad idea. If money used for development, and inside revolt against ODM rebels, all that tucked away in today's Star. People Daily, Kashagwa, man under pressure, battle for the mountain. Young MPs are refusing to read from the same page as Deputy President, who is trying to position himself as the Mount Kenya political supremo, even as the ground appears to be shifting under his feet. You have a story on page 4 of the People Daily this morning. Kenya could soon waive visa rule for all visitors. Right? President William Ruto, during Tambongu Lore, the Turkana Cultural Festival in Lodwar yesterday. The festival brings members of the Turkana community from neighboring South Sudan, Uganda, and Ethiopia, building cohesion and helping to prevent conflict through positive interaction. The president said the government was considering visa-free entry for all tourists coming to Kenya, a plan that could be implemented as early as next year. What do you think about this visa-free entry into the country? In terms of, you're a tourist, it's a visa-free, free-for-all. Does it portend any security risk for the country?
I don't mind, but I hope they will be doing proper security check, because I think visa is not about money. It is about identifying those who are in Kenya and ensuring that we know, are they tourists, are they business people, are they students, are they individuals who may not have clear description. So these are some of the fundamental issues that I think the president should be advised, so that by the time he makes such statements, they have been able to ensure that proper security check is done. It is an imperative that we feel as a country. Of course, we have porous borders, but we need to improve on that to ensure that, given the fact that we have some of the security threats within the region, whether it is Somalia, whether it is the South Sudan or Sudan itself, and even southern Ethiopia, we still got a number of threats, and of course, some of the visitors from DRC. But if they have a way of doing an audit of those who are here and what they are doing, well, I don't mind, because perhaps the little money that you get by ensuring there is a visa, from the visa fees, is not commensurate with what somebody can do and or spend here in Kenya, whether it's a tourist or somebody else who is just on transit. But it's important that an audit is done. The essence of a visa is not just money. It is about to ensure that you do proper check on those who are getting in and those who are getting out. Yep.
All right, indeed. That's the People Daily. You can read all about it there. 2-year riot act to foresters of corruption. That is another story on page 7 of the Star this morning. And also, let there be GMOs. Now, judge declares. That is a story on page 2. King Charles to launch Madai Marathon. All roads will lead to Karura Forest when monarch arrives to celebrate the Nobel laureate. That story continues on page 30 of the People Daily. This is how it looks. You can grab a copy for yourself. Taifa Leo, watu wa Ruto walia. Washirika wa rais walalama wamekuwa akitumia rasilimali nyingi kwa upinzani. And we can see here mbunge wa Nandi Bernard Kitur, he says, tuna kiu cha maendeleo. Kila mtu hapa ana hamu ya kushiriki kikao cha kupanga mkutano utakao waleta pamoja wabunge kwa masaa mawili. Kundi la wanasiasa kutoka bonde la Ufa, ngome ya kisiasa ya Rais Ruto, wamelalamika kuwa rais amepuuza eneo hilo kimaendeleo. That story continues on page 2 of Taifa Leo. Mwangaza asusia kikao cha madiwani, right? She says she's not under any, of course, under any, what should I say?
Obligation.
Obligation is the right word, which is not downloading in my head. She's not under any obligation to appear before the MCAs. Right? Is she right? Right?
I think in a sense
she is.
In a sense, he is right. You
Yeah.
see, you can't summon the president, you know, in a way, the governor is the president of the county.
Yes.
So you can't really summon her on any issue because she has the ministers in charge of those areas.
Yes.
So you get those ministers, you can get the governor himself. So this is a form of harassment. I think the mayors, when you look at them carefully, they have not accepted that they have a woman in government. You know, that is a highly patriarchal society.
Yeah.
So
this is a challenge.
it's a challenge, but also she's not intelligent. She's confronting them. You see, when you know the society and what the society believes in, and you happen to be elected than she was, then you establish a different approach of dealing with them. You deal with them like a woman. You don't deal with them like a man. If you deal with them like a man, they will defeat you. But if you deal with them like a woman...
But if that is a personality, you know, the people
you see
who
that
are go-getters, they're
personality,
feisty, yeah, you know, it's not that you're dealing with
you
them like
need
a
to
man.
change
It's
the
just
personality. You need to change it. You see, in general...
How can you change your personality?
In general,
I mean,
women
that should
do
be your
better.
strength.
In leadership and management, women always do better when they remain women. When they now translate themselves into men, then they become worse than men. And that is what is happening, I believe, in Meru. so because you see...
But yeah, it's good to see, you know, someone waking up and catching you on your phrase on transferring themselves to men.
Yeah.
You must see, maybe this is a transgender topic that we're talking about.
No, not really.
No, I'm just saying that on the lighter touch.
You see, in management, what happens is that there are soft and hard management. Okay, men are used to art because men are very competitive.
Yes.
Women are nurturers. So when they are working with you, they look at you as somebody they can promote, somebody they can make better.
Thank you.
That's how they look at it.
Thank you.
So once you change from being an usher to being an hand manager, then you become a man, and then they don't know where to fit you now.
Thank you. Professor Kindiki.
But I think
you've been following the affairs in the county.
Oh yeah, very well. Yeah. But I think the governor is just being oversensitive.
She's being oversensitive.
Oversensitive of the issue of agenda, and I think gender issues is just a concept of mind. And I think she's overreacting, or maybe she cannot be accepted because maybe they think Meru communities is so patriarchal. But there's nothing wrong being patriarchal, matriarchal, because these are issues of life and culture. So I think the governor should settle down, and she's a leader, and take herself as a leader, and lead the people, regardless of agenda. But now if she's oversensitive of maybe I'm a woman, these people don't like me because you don't lead because you're a woman or a man, but it's what you deliver. And you will give people what they require. And if you give them, they'll just accept you. But when you hang on the issue of the concept of mind, and she's so much concerned about the gender, I'm a woman, these are men and all that, you don't lead people because they are men or they are women, but you are a leader. And I think that's why Meru people elected her to be the governor. But when you look at the politics as surrounding gender issues, which is not the case.
But I think
it's not really the case.
It's incumbent. Let me come to Kibruto. It's incumbent upon the men there to try and sort of affirm, and give her that affirmation and confidence that we've embraced you as our leader. And that dichotomy on issues to do with gender and us being a patriarchal society is not there. But maybe it's not there just on paper, but culturally you can feel, the vibes of sort of that particular patriarchal issue arising there. I don't know what will be your take. Because the two gentlemen, they come from there, so I can see. So sometimes you might just see it from the prism of it, but you can see it differently.
Fundamentally, I think the Meru people are very open society. When they don't like you, they say it. When they like you, they say it.
They're very transparent.
Very transparent. They don't pretend. They are not pretenders. There are some places you go, people will cheer you up, and you will leave the place thinking that you have all the votes. But Meru people, they will give you an indication of how they accept you or how they reject you. But let us go to the basic layout of the county leadership. Remember, she ran on an independent ticket. And many of the MCAs are either in the Kraitu party or UDA. And therefore, given the fact that our politics is antagonistic, they do not want to accept her because they are still loyal to their root parties. And that's why she's been toying with the idea of joining the president's party or working with the president closely, but the issues are not yet properly arranged on the ground. That is something that really worries me about her. As to whether she is emotionally intelligent is a subject that can be of another debate. But when people do not fully accept you and you know that hostility does exist, it is very hard also for her to climb down. My next issue is that I hope the first gentleman of Meru County will also be able to slightly remove himself from appearing to be generally present whenever the governor is. So that, because listening and following the Meru politics is that the gentleman provokes individuals more than even the lady. Because I'm told when he's singing with that guitar of his, he's able to call them names in a language that is laced with a lot.
In a sing-song way.
Yes, somebody sings his way.
Somebody singing expletives.
Yes, so they want to punish the guy, but now they have to punish through the governor. So it worries me because it's a bit complex, and I'm happy when she came for the Senate hearing she was able to acquit herself, and most of the senators, including Senator Mudama, gave a piece of advice, and I think she should just replace some of the piece of advice she was given, so that we are able to have peace, because I think she means well.
She means well.
She means well. For me, if I was in Mero, vote for her.
Let me say this. Kawera didn't learn anything from that, the impeachment process and the advice she was given. Because if she did, I think the second impeachment, which is coming, will not be coming. I think a bigger problem is actually how she operates. She doesn't seek advice. She operates directly in the wants, just like the president operating directly in constituencies without consulting the MPs in that constituency. These rubs these men in the wrong way. You see, they expect if the governor is going to their ward, the governor will tag them in so they can go together. But she goes directly to the ward because she has a rapport for sure with the public, and she thinks now that is sufficient. But you see, that is not sufficient in a male-dominated society, because that society is interesting. I think we are the first one actually to elect a woman in to parliament in Kenya, and then we destroyed her within 1 year. She was gone. She was called Narita Karimi.
Karimi.
Yes, Narita Karimi.
The first one was the Luo community.
The Luo community, and then I think Karimi.
No, he's saying from the community.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from Meru. Yes, we elected this lady, and then we turned her around and wondered how she went to parliament. So we just created the stories and finished her within 1 year. So it's an interesting community. But I don't think, I think Kawera may very well be the author of our own misery, because it's possible, knowing the history of the community, to work with those MCAs. I don't believe if she sat those MCAs down, identify projects in their want, then move with them. I don't believe this issue would be existing right now. But she want to work alone, which is what we never advise. You see, as a CEO, there is one thing we tell you never do. Never become the most intelligent person in that room. You will have problems.
You'll have problems.
You will have problems.
Right. Dr. Isaac Kalua's Green and Meru's name, I can't remember. He can speak a smattering.
Tomarete.
Keremi Ntomarete.
Yes.
Keremi Ntomarete.
Official name in the land of Meru.
In the land of how come you were crowned and given that name?
You know, when you do great things, and particularly on matters of the environment, and when you are doing things to glorify God, things just follow you. So it's a honor.
Yes.
It's a honor.
It is actually.
I can't pretend to know why.
Keremi
Tomarete.
Tomarete. Keremi Ntomarete, of course, is joining us this morning as well. This is Dr. Isaac Kalua Green. We shall be hearing from him as well much later. But let's just get winding up on the paper review, as also we look at the Business Daily. This is what we have on the front page of the Business Daily this morning. CBK investor standoff drives interest rates to 16-year high. That is what is on the front page of the Business Daily this morning. October Treasury bonds sell misses target by over 80%. Investor holds out for 18.46% on 5-year bond. And you can follow the story inside the Business Daily as well. Standard to downgrade premium banking clients. Standard Chartered Bank will downgrade its Kenyan customers from its affluent banking status known as priority banking if they fail to maintain a minimum account balance of 4 million shillings. Deposit 4 million shillings monthly or apply for a mortgage worth at least 12 million shillings, as it raises the bar for its customers to enjoy one of its most prestigious retail banking products. Right, so there you are. If it goes beyond 4 million, you are not an affluent banking client there with Stanchart. That is what is latest from them. Relievers diverted KQ London flight cleared by UK Air Force, and also KRA tax demands rise amid field visits by new enforcers. It seems the KRA Kanjos are really working. As you can see, the government had said that the Kanjos of KRA will be actually on the ground, and now they're cracking the whip, where we can see now that the tax demand is rising, and it says that the Kenya Revenue Authority has begun issuing tax demands to businesses after stepping up inspection visits by newly deployed enforcement teams. Right, so beware that anytime the KRA Kanjo can step into your premises, and if you are not putting your tax books in a row, then they'll come down for you. Why are you laughing, Professor? This is where we are.
Because that's not how you collect taxes if you want to collect taxes.
But if you're not paying taxes and you're evading taxes,
if you don't pay,
as well, we come
assess,
for you.
They assess you, but they don't come to your premises. What we are doing here is we need serious tax rationalization, because the method we are using are more expensive in the hand than the tax we get. The regime need to be very easy. It need to be
but your business
simple.
premises, it has to be inspected, regardless of maybe it's taxation, even for occupational safety, issues as well. We have to.
Yeah, but there is OSHA for that. There's organizations for that.
That's what I'm saying. It would be any diametrically different from what these other organizations are doing. They're just coming to see if you're putting all your auditors.
What you are reading in the papers about the tax inspectors and all that is not what you are saying. That's completely different. That will raise the cost of collecting tax. And when you raise the cost of collecting tax, you haven't solved any problem.
All right, so we have around 3,000 KRA Kanjos.
Yeah, we have KRA Kanjos.
That have been recruited, and also the recruitment was very contentious. They're saying, there is only 2 faces of Kenya that have been recruited on this as well.
In fact,
if you may remember that.
In fact, if the opposition were to be very clever, that is a very good entry for them. When you want to boycott tax, when one of them comes, you supply them with 3B. They just call all the others and the guy goes away. And they have to come the following day. So I don't know what the wisdom is in informing that tax kanjos.
All right.
Yeah. Necessity has become the mother of invention. Kenyans are evading every now and then, so you must try something new. So whatever needs to be done for us to meet our obligations as a country and what is expected in terms of collection must be done. But these sometimes are desperate moves, which can be dangerous sometimes.
Now you are talking.
It worries me, Dibal, because they should make it less punitive and they should make it easy to pay taxes. It reminds me when I was a young man in Tanzania, people used to take shortcuts through the bush to get to another wedding across the ridge because they had not paid what we call kodi. And at times, because the IDs were not there, if I want to go on safari, then I borrow if you are paid taxes, I borrow yours, so that I just cross the place and I can show the police and the guys who are collecting kodi. Now, this is exactly what is happening in Kenya today. And of course, later on, even for bicycles, if I wanted to cycle across the ridge, I would get the license from you. I put on my bicycle. It is later on they brought the sticker to ensure that when you pay, the sticker is on the bicycle. But if you can easily also remove the mud card and from your bicycle to mine, for purposes of doing that. Those are methods of tax evasion. And people are so ingenious.
You should be investigated.
No, this is a reality that happened.
Very well. When you make it difficult for people to pay tax in an easy way,
they look for
they will find the method.
And it's so frustrating. I just sympathize with the government. I wish they could make it easy, that when I click something, it is easy. Because some of us are not techno-savvy.
Yes.
Make it easy for us to pay the taxes and give you back the report that you are already okay, tax compliant.
It should be even via SMS.
Demystify this tax payment.
Everyone is tech-savvy, everyone is really plugged there.
Yeah. And they should do information, whatever. Because now there is, for us farmers, there is what we call presumptive tax.
Presumptive tax, yes.
Yeah, in terms of the proceeds I get from my maize, how it is already input. For me, as a retiree, I get my pension, and already I had paid tax before that pension was calculated. So they should make it easy for us to understand. But they have made it such a complicated issue, just like many other programs. Even these, whatever, funding of universities, they make it so complicated that, and at times when they're trying to explain, they struggle to explain. And I've been telling them, when you struggle to explain something, then there is a problem about what you are trying to explain. You are either lying or you have not conceptualized it yourself to the extent that you are struggling to convince yourself about what you are talking about.
But I think but I think there is an issue of struggling to see how Kenyans behave, because many people would like to evade paying taxes, and even when you put mechanisms of people trying to, to how you can collect taxes, people try to tamper with the systems. But I think if there is a more friendly, more courteous way of collecting money, I think people will be willing to pay taxes. And secondly, I think we need a lot of education. Many people don't even know why taxes are paid. And I think instead of collecting using some kind of calc methods and all that, but I understand from where they come from. It's just the issue of frustrations. When you have frustration and you want something to be achieved, then you have to look for other ways, sometimes which are not very pleasant to the people. But I think if there is a more organized way, if there is a more organized way of doing it, I think people will still pay taxes.
Yeah, so I wanted just to ask, because other than having this KRA Jaws is the fact that also you'll have drones. So I can just be here in the studio, I can see another drone now just flying around my premises, trying to collect or trying to see what I'm doing in terms of my privacy. This is what also is up the collective sleeves of KRA.
Is that sustainable?
That's what I'm asking. So that will be having the drone pilots, not really drone pilots, because these are not but we'll have drones. Yes, we'll have drones coming to survey, especially for the landlords who also don't remit their taxes as well. So around your premises or around your apartments, you can see
all the cities in Kenya.
So we'll be having drones all over.
Debal, I'm serious about the fact that I earlier said that necessity has become the mother of invention. Kenyans are very, very smart in the way they do their things. And if you go back to the time that you would be losing money in a matatu, a phone, or anything, there is a strategy that those who pickpockets, even in a matatu, they would just say a word when you are seated or standing in the matatu, and you'd show them where the money is. They would say, hey, last week I lost my money in the matatu, and then you quickly hold the pocket where the money is, so the target becomes easier. So I think this is also a strategy. When you know that all these guys are in town, you will start quickly panicking. And the moment you panic, they know now where to go. I think it's a strategy. Just like whenever there is something in Capedo or all this, they just take their scurries in a place. You just realize that the world is here. And therefore you just freeze and get. I think it's a strategy, and it has not been tried before. It needs to be tried. Whatever needs to be done, let me tell you, for us to raise money to keep this country going must be done.
I'm not sure.
Give it up to that. This is a reality.
It reminds me of a friend of mine who had actually, during those times when the mobile phone came in, and he had this mobile phone that had the antenna. You remember? It was which one was it? The Nokia there.
Yes, Nokia.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was Ericsson. There was Nokia.
Yes.
There was another one. The M mobile something.
Yes.
Yeah. Motorola. Yeah, Motorola. Yes, it was actually a Motorola.
Yes.
Yeah. So he had put it in his pocket, and he was in a matatu when it vibrated, and he thought it was a rat in his pocket. He actually jumped in the matatu. Yeah, so when you're saying instinctively, where your money is. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, but also the invasive way that we're talking about the KRA and the drones. Yeah. Even now, the KRA officials will be having body cams. So to try and clamp down also on corruption. So when you're having these conversations, also it's being recorded.
Let me tell you the best method of collecting tax. I shared a room with somebody from Scandinavia, from Norway, in the university in America. This fellow was making fruit cakes and selling them. Then he meticulously kept records. Then I asked, why all this is your business, and this money is coming to you? He said, because I have to file my taxes. Remember, somebody is keeping records in America so they can file taxes genuinely and honestly in Norway. You need your citizens to love the country and they want to pay those taxes. The moment they feel that they are being forced, they are not part of that country, and you want to collect much, whether you have an army to collect or not. You remember during Moi, taxes were not being paid, but the moment Kibaki came in, and he came with good policies for businesses, the money just poured in. People are volunteering to pay taxes. So you need to create that Norwegian in Kenya. Wherever you are, whether you are here, it's not because the government is looking, it's because you feel it's a duty to support your country. But the other methods being used,
but they're being incentivized. You know, they're being incentivized by the fact that you can pay taxes.
The moment you feel we are being enforced.
But you see, they're being incentivized by the fact they can see the commensurate services.
Yeah, but yes, exactly.
Yes, school fees being paid in full. The roads are good. You know, the amenities are accessible.
So why is the government
healthcare is good as well? So maybe that's why there's such an apathy in paying taxes, because
because you don't see
the services that are required. Still, your water at home the taps are running dry.
Exactly.
There's nothing coming from there. It's not potable water. The roads are not fixed wherever you're coming from. You don't see the commensurate benefit of actually paying these taxes at the end of the day. That's why maybe there could be an apathy. But even as we're talking about that, it is not just within Kenya. The government is very clear that even the tax cheats that are offshore, they're coming up with a system on how they're going to, drop them in to be paying taxes.
If there is a legacy that President Ruto will leave in this town, is the fact that he was a man like Zachariah in the Bible. Tax, tax, tax. You see, the moment you increase taxes all the time and you are thinking of taxing anything and everything, you create a problem. The other challenge also is the issue of, which is more of a governance issue, corruption. You see, like when you go to City Hall and you present your approvals for any work that you want to do, they take a lot of time, at times even up to 6 months. Those are some of the measures, just because somebody wants to be given something for facilitation. The word facilitation has been used in this town much more. My worry is, are the officers themselves ready to collect taxes in a way that is humane? Or why do they want to make us look we are criminals in this town? Let them understand they themselves must be clean before they suspect us of being tax evaders. Every Kenyan, I can assure you, the moment they realize you are doing well, the moment they realize that you have good intentions, they will pay taxes. Kibaki lowered VAT, and he collected more from the same VAT. Margaret Thatcher lowered various taxes, and within no time, she was collecting more. And she stayed in office for so long. Now, today, the cost of fuel, more than 52% goes to taxes.
Actually 60.
So when it lands in Mombasa and it lands in Dar es Salaam, why is fuel cheaper in Tanzania than in Kenya? It is because we have put so many taxes. You see, even what they want to say that you have to pay for car usage or car circulation is the only license that was removed by Kimunya to put into fuel. Now it is already in the fuel. Now again you want to bring the old license system. It is impossible.
There is the motor vehicle circulation levy.
Yeah, circulation levy.
Okay.
Everything levy. House levy, housing levy. Why are you why do you want me to pay, if I was still working, levy when I have a house? And I may not even need a house. I can organize some small grass thatch house and I live there. Must I live in Mabati house or in tiled house? Even in Uganda here, the barracks, they build thatch houses and askari stay there. Why do you want to change my life and you give me punitive measure, which is now a tax? It was housing levy.
Why are you assuming, that anyone want to change your life? You see, you are collecting around 73 billion in housing levy.
Yes.
And the proposal to build 250,000 houses per year. Just divide. Ours will be costing around 290-something thousand shillings. Which house will you build with the 296,000?
Yeah.
So the idea is just money they are collecting. They are not going to build any house. But you assume they actually want to build the house.
Well, I thought they are well intentioned.
Well, but 63 billion shillings has been given to National Housing Corporation so far. So there's good intention, right? Let's see.
You see, intention. They say road to hell is paved with very good intentions.
You see, there's nothing wrong.
Let me say this, Debal. I think we are dealing with more serious issues than we can imagine at the moment. And I'll try to illustrate. One, we are now as a nation borrowing commercially. We are unable to meet our tax collections. We are experiencing the very high devaluation of Kenya shillings. We are going through a very high cost of living by the day. Things are just getting worse. And we must be hopeful, because hope is what keeps people going, and imaginary ways of trying to sort out things. And the fact that the cost of living is also everywhere in the world. But we need to start thinking by ourselves. And I like what Prof said earlier on. We need to ask ourselves why. Why are we where we are today? Why is it that our former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, went through this? Why is it that during President Kibaki's time there was some semblance of support from the public, where we initially even had Mwananchi saying we are going to hold the police, the corruption must be held out, must be done, where everybody is going with the government because they can see the effort that is being done. And the moment we keep asking ourselves this, why is it that corruption, I mean, even banks, you receive money, M-Pesa, full, loaded, 150, 200,000 from a bank, meaning that things are start loose in your own bank account, that you are losing money in a continuous way. Why is it that we are having schools that are registered and they are not registered? You actually have budgeted corruption. All these questions we need to ask ourselves. And therefore, what is this that is going to change our country? Sincerely speaking. I have said it here before, and I received some interesting feedback out of my statement, and I want to repeat it so that it may make sense to all of us as a nation. I have said before, time and again, if President Ruto chose to be a one-term president, I'm speaking these words very carefully, then he would get almost automatic second term. This is what I mean. Whenever a president comes into power, there are so many political debts that you have to pay this guy because he lent me a chopper on this day, that you have to get this person to be supported because he gave me money because of this, that you have to support this industry because it is led by this person, all those debts. And I sing in the choir, and I know the importance of a director of a choir. And it has been said umpteen times that when you want to lead a choir, you have to show the congregation the back for you to lead. There comes a time that a nation needs to be taken through by a leader who has got to take real hard decisions, where you are taking decisions on behalf of Kenyans, where you are thinking in the way that you would think in your own institution, and make decision if it is chicken that I'm keeping, if it is anything, and say, no, this is enough. I'm going to fire this guy. Because things are really bad at the moment. Kenyans lack someone. Kenyans wish to have a leader that will go with them with the challenges that we have at the moment. Seeing that when you say that I'm going to fire so and so, no transfer, you see that that person is fired. And if we try and do this as a nation, you'll be surprised what Kenyans will give. Indeed. Kenyans can see, Kenyans understand.
Right.
And even when you see the president trying, he's just trying. But he's just trying also to be a nice guy at the same time because of political debts. And not only him, it is something that has recurred over time. And it has to be brought to an end. And that is what I mean. Making a decision, choosing to become a one-term president, and thereafter making decisions that will change the future of this country, including our own children.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that we can get and flow to the next level.
Indeed, as you mentioned, we have officers who they're looking at the way to pilfer. Before we just wind up with the paper review, if we go to Uganda, and I'm just looking at the Daily Monitor today, where it says teachers jailed over plot, if you can see there, to leak, over plot, not even leaking itself, over the plot to leak exams. Here we come to the star in the country, how 2022 KCSE exams was leaked. It has been leaked, no one has actually arrested. Yeah, no one has been arrested. But even the hint of you plotting is actually putting you in jail in Uganda.
But before
this is what now Dr. Kalu is talking about. We need action. We've been talking about leaking of exams, overhauling the way it was done, and it's been so long. We want to see people going to
Before we lose it, I just want to, and Kalu has spoken so well today. I don't know where he slept. Maybe he should sleep
there. It actually is coming from
He
Uganda.
should sleep there every day. Kalu, this is how you get to mobilize hope in our country. There's a clip has been going on Ishelema of Zambia.
This is how you get
mobilize hope.
Hope. Okay.
Yes, for the country and love for the country. Ishelema says once he entered the office, even before he was shown him, somebody came with a 1.8 million bill. I mean million bill. They want signature to buy vehicles. So he asked them, what was the former president using? He said, did he have cars? Yes. Are those cars moving? Yes. Okay, I will use those cars. So he didn't sign. He didn't buy new cars. Now, he is explaining that because he doesn't know why these people are driving this car or that, because you are buying with the public money. So what that did to the Zambians, the moment he behaved like that, is they said, wait a minute, there's a president here I want to support because he thinks and works for me. So this is how you mobilize that, okay? So open, you see, ourselves, we are not in a position to produce an Ishelema here. we are born differently. So...
But you see, the efforts like being done by Felix, the head of public service, is it? Koske. You know, those needs to be pushed and backed by enough oomph. That when he says that there will be no corruption, that we are not going to get into flight misuse of public funds, those are things that immediately it is said the president needs to back it. Everybody, people just need to see things happening. It's over. You get the confidence that we really
say
need.
there is no corruption. What he said is that the corruption is on an industrial scale.
Yes, and that scale is what now we really need to reduce. We just need to follow our words with action so that we can change this nation. It is doable.
Thank you.
Even in such hard times like this.
Thank you. All right, we need to take a short break right now. Teachers jail over plot to leak exams. Here in the country is just the norm. To leak exams, no one goes to jail. And also questions around it. I always defend it where we have the CS saying exams leaked where, who, by whom, right? Those are the questions. We're going to take a short break, but even as we're talking about hope also, they normally say that hope deferred makes the heart sick, right? So how much should we always be hopeful as a country? Right, we take a short break. When we circle back, we delve deep into a lot of issues that we want to discuss as well, even including the privatization acts that we've always been broaching moving forward. Telkom is a question that we need to broach as well, and itself how that full circle was made very quickly by the government from Helios and selling it to Ika from Emirati. We take a short break, don't go away. Watch Uongozi today here on Morning Prime.